Game get picked last night, so what's the...
Actually, I did see it. I was speaking in Greenville last night, and when I walked out of the embassy suites there and got in my car and looked at my phone, I had a voicemail from Tim Beret. So I went, oh boy. And I had a text message from a friend, KP, to the Rockies' 26th pick, and I was like, oh well, here we go. And so I called Tim, and we talked a little bit about it. I called Kyle's dad. I actually was driving back to Clemson listening to the game. It was about the 8th and 9th inning I got to listen to, but I called Carl and just congratulated them, and you know, I sent Kyle a text message and just congratulating him, told him we'd talk later. Hey, the main thing I think right now is now we know what somebody values him as a baseball player, and he's the 26th pick. As I told Carl, it really doesn't surprise me in the fact that they've had a lot of success with Todd Helton, who's a quarterback, a baseball guy, and you know, they maybe see some of the same characteristics in Kyle. So you know, from that standpoint, not really surprised, but really happy for Kyle. I mean, you know, you get you know, all these young men that we have were kids at one time, and they were all dreaming of having an opportunity to you know, be a professional athlete, and you know, to be drafted, that's a pretty big deal. And to be the 26th pick, that's just a great credit to Kyle and his drive that he's had, his work ethic that he's had to be great. You know, here's a guy that has just excelled in both areas. I've said it many times. I still think he's a better football player. I think he has the ability to be a phenomenal quarterback, and you know, that ultimately he'll have to make the decision on what he has to do, what he truly wants to do, and obviously finances are going to have a big part of the decision that he has to make moving forward. I mean, I don't know what the 26th pick gets. I don't know how they slot it and all that stuff, but I know that for him to walk away from you know, playing football and giving up a potential professional career in that sport as well, somebody's got to be willing to pay him for that. And you know, I know that there will be a lot of talk between now and when he has to decide. I think it's August 15th. August 14th is the deadline. I don't think it'll go that long, but you know, until we have some facts and figures from their negotiations with baseball, I think it'd be hard for him to really truly make a decision. And so I think now that we know where he's going, we find out the numbers, then Kyle, the ball will be in his court, and he'll have to sit down and say, okay, you know, what am I going to do here, and really come up with his list of reasons why, and we'll support him in whatever he decides.
You've said all along that you couldn't imagine him not being on a football team, or words to that effect. Now the situation is that obviously the Rockies understand his situation. They understand there will be a premium. They've told them, the Parkers have told them that they don't want to drag it out. So they know what they're in for.
Oh yeah.
Doesn't that change, you know, knowing what you know now, doesn't that change your view that this might happen?
Well, I personally think he will definitely sign professional baseball. I really don't doubt that at all. In fact, I've kind of felt like that would be the case regardless. My biggest question was, you know, does he continue to play football, and you know, or does he walk away? And that's been the question in my mind. You know, I felt like that if he got drafted in the first 3 rounds, that he would definitely sign a professional baseball contract. But I didn't think, my mindset, I don't think that he would walk away for anything less than just significant money, because he'd be walking away from a lot. And again, you know, the baseball is a whole different animal. You know, in fact, I had a young man in my office last week who's been playing professional baseball for 4 years, and is thinking about going back to football. And you know, just listening to him talk about the grind and things like that. I mean, as I've done my research, you know, there's a, and I know, I think Coach Leggett has had, what, 10 first rounders since '94 or so, since he's been in this program. I don't know how many of them have made it to the major leagues. Tim Bray, did I stump you?
I added up. I think it's probably 6 of the, or 5 of the previous.
So there you go. You know, it's a 50-50 deal probably, even if you're a first-round pick. And whereas the NFL, even if you're the 53rd guy or the last free agent, you know, you go right in. There is no minor league football. You go right in there. And and Kyle is a guy that I just don't have any doubts. This guy can be a very good professional quarterback one day. And at the very least, you know, be a great backup. You know, so it's just going to come down to what he wants to do. Because I know he can be a pro in either sport. But ultimately it comes down to him.
What do you think of in football? Are you thinking, not to compare him to other players, but the Drew Brees type?
Absolutely.
Given his stature?
I mean, you know, that's a great guy to compare it to. You know, Coach McCorvey just spent a couple days up with Ozzie Newsome with the Ravens and watched them practice. You know, Flacco's a good player. And their other 2 quarterbacks, one guy's 5'10", Troy Smith, and the other guy was about maybe 6'1", a guy named Beck. And, you know, Kyle is special. And the thing that I would hate is to see him, you know, not playing football. That's a selfish thing. But just because, you know, see a guy that I think just has, you know, unlimited potential at the position because of this right here and his physical skill set that he has. He just has a great knack for the position. And he's only going to get better and better and better. You know, what he did as a freshman is phenomenal. I mean, he's, you know, he got every record you can have as a freshman quarterback here. I've been playing a long time here. It's hard to do what he did as a freshman. And on top of that, not only a freshman, but a guy that had been playing baseball as well. So, you know, he set the bar very high as a young player, and again, would just continue to get better and better and better if he continued to play the sport. You know, there's been some unique guys along the way. You know, that some have gone football, some have gone baseball, some have done both. You know, I hate to see him not play both, to be honest with you. I'd like to see him continue on, but that's me. You know, that's me. You know, thinking about it, talking about it. You know, you look at the Shamarja. That guy got drafted in the in the 5th round summer, and they offered him. I think he negotiated a long-term type of deal or something. But he negotiated to play football, and I guarantee if you sat down with him today, he wouldn't take anything for the experience that he had that last year of football. The type of season he had, the experiences he had with his teammates and friendships, and I think they had a good year that year. You know, if he had walked away from that. So those are all the thoughts that Kyle has to process, but ultimately he'll make a decision. We'll support him, but at the end of the day, I think it's just going to come down to finances and you know, what they're actually put in front of him. You know, this is a very wise family, and you know, I know they'll make a good decision.
You said back in the spring, and I think it maybe even last